fellow compatriots in Kogi West Senatorial District, verdict has been given at the Tribunal of Kogi West Senatorial District in favor of Senator Smart Adeyemi. We actually did not expect judgment at this level, but we know that by the grace of God we will get justice at the Court of Appeal. I encourage my team and supporters to be strong, because the battle is a battle of no retreat, no surrender. This temporary victory is very temporal and evaporative. We are getting there and we will get there. No, I encourage all my supporters to be peaceful, to be happy, nothing lost, and by the grace of God, I remain Dino Melaye, and I assure every one of you that we shall laugh at last. Thank you very much, and Luta Continua, Victoria Asata.
Hi there, welcome to Vanguard Live, and of course it's another beautiful Thursday afternoon here in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria, and of course you know it is another interesting, hot and spicy edition of Talking Politics. Of course, Talking Politics is where you get very interesting news, stories, and of course analysis on trending political stories. Okay, today we have a number of topics we are going to be discussing here on Talking Politics, and of course we are going to be looking at the judgment of the Tribunal, okay, that took place yesterday at Kogi State. Of course that involved Senator Dino Melaye and of course Smart Adeyemi regarding the Kogi West senatorial election. Okay, away from that, we are also going to look at the Ondo State election, okay, that is slated for October 2020. Away from that also, we are going to be talking on the PDP. Okay, yesterday the PDP was accusing the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari regarding his borrowing plans. They are saying that Nigeria is going to stop breathing if we continue to borrow. Okay, let us look at the last one, which is very, very hot and trending at the moment, and that is Obaseki, okay, sitting governor of Edo State, you know, crying. Okay, why he's crying, we get to find out after this time out. Okay, I'm with a very interesting guest in the studio. He is a political analyst, he's a friend of the house, and he's going to be providing a lot of meaning into all of the topics that we will be discussing today. Okay, Mr. Ifeanyi Okoye, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, you were here last week, and then we talked extensively on the Edo politics. Okay, Edo politics is still in the news, and of course trending as we speak. Just yesterday, you know, the sitting governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, reports added that he cried after being screened for 2 hours.
He really cried, or he was lamenting.
Yeah, well,
you will say he cried, but for more indications, he said that the screening panel was not being fair to him as against what the way others were screened. That its own took a long hour of 2 hours, and which issues range from certificates and other things, and the medias were not allowed for the coverage. So at the end of the day, he said he's waiting for the outcome, but he doesn't think he will get justice, because some certain people, like the chairman of the party, has his own interest, and it is unfair that you cannot be a judge or you cannot be a judge in your own matter and be the jury as well. So he's not seeing any fair play coming out.
Okay, we'll go back to Edo State politics, but let us look at what happened yesterday in Kogi State. Okay, Senator Dino Melaye yesterday didn't get what he was expecting. Of course, the tribunal there, you know, they affirmed the election of Senator Smart Adeyemi, and of course dismissed, you know, the petition of Dino Melaye, saying that the witnesses were unreliable, you know, quote and unquote unreliable. What can you make of that?
Well, the court doesn't work with hearsay, and they don't work with secondary evidence. If it's based on the facts as presented by the by the witnesses to the court, and it must be a direct evidence. So I don't expect the court to manufacture any judgment that is out of his previous position. So it's the best bet is at least Dino Melaye still has the usual process to exhaust. I think if not to the Supreme or Appeal Court. So his best bet is to go back and sit with his lawyers and re-strategize and come up with a watertight case that will be admissible and presented before the court.
But from what we've seen in the past, do you think it is likely to get justice?
Well, the judiciary, like people said, is compromised, but in the eyes of the law, it's seen as the last hope of the common man, and it's seen as one of the bedrock or strong arm that propel democracy. I won't say it's difficult, but on the other hand, I would say that the judiciary is facing some trying times that need reform.
Okay, like asking if he's going to get justice, as if the sitting senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, of course, Senator Smart Adeyemi, he did well in that election. He pulled about 80,000 votes, and Dino Melaye had about 62,000 votes. Okay, some said the election was actually marred with a lot of irregularities, violence and all of that. And that is why some political analysts are saying that that Dino Melaye deserved, to be declared the winner. What can you say about that? You actually followed the election.
The election was really followed by most people who believed that even the initial pronouncement before the fresh election ordered by the court was not supposed to be so. And going by what really happened between the second election between Smart and Dino, there was a lot of violence. It was characterized by widespread rigging, election irregularities, snatching of ballot box, and maiming of voters and potential citizens, maybe by journalists or people who have interest. So looking at the issue, and you put it this way, I believe that the INEC as a whole, after the first, before it declared inconclusive, they will have declared Dino winner, because as at then he has scored to third majority of the required votes needed. But based on interest, like some quarters said the governor had interest with some of the party stakeholders, and they were bent on removing Dino. So the only process for Dino to get back his mandate is through the judiciary. And like I said, the judiciary is the hope of the common man, but the judiciary still needs reform. But
what interest? You made mention of interest. What sort of interest do you think
like
the governor
had some interest from some certain quarter at the national executive of the party, because Dino, like in the 8th Senate, he was seen as somebody who was a bottleneck to the ruling party.
But he has no connection with the governor. They are not, contesting for the same position.
He might not have interest with the governor, but forgetting that the governor is the CSO of the state, by virtue of being CSO, is the leader of the APC in the state. So, and when they go to
you are saying that he is a tool. He has now become a tool, in the hands of the APC leadership. That's what you are saying.
I didn't call
you said he is that's
what you said. The party. So the party, I said the party at the national have interest, and loyalty of the party is not just as a card-carrying member. You must be willing and ready to at least the agendas of the party, even in your state, to implement it. So I didn't call him an agent.
Okay, but Dino Melaye came out yesterday, shortly after the declaration. We've seen the video, and then he said that there were irreconcilable differences in the number of votes and all of that. What do you have to say?
Well, it has happened a lot of times, and when such things come up, we always see where the issue of technicalities plays part. A good example was what really happened in Osun State, and what really happened in some other areas, whereby when a candidate has scored to third of majority of the votes, in as much as some vote has been cancelled, INEC, at least those votes that were cancelled as a result of being void, as a result of violent minded areas, INEC is on its own to declare such candidate with the highest scores winner, not minding.
But is that in tandem
with the electoral law?
Yes.
The electoral law as amended 2010 stated clearly when a candidate has scored to third of the majority of votes needed, that he should be declared winner. But the issue now, the lacuna in the electoral law, which was not stated clearly, is this issue of inconclusive election we are having today as a result of widespread election irregularities, that has to do with rigging, thuggery, miming, and intimidation of voters.
But some people have said that the inconclusive election was manufactured, quote and unquote, by some political party to suit their whims and caprices.
It was yes, we will say it was manufactured by the two major giant political parties we have in Nigeria today. Because when you talk about some political party, there are two parties that are in the forefront of today's democracy, which is the APC and PDP. So, which is not healthy for our democracy.
Well, Ondo election is kind of very, very silent, at the moment. But just yesterday, the daughter of the former governor there came out and said that she is going to be the next governor. There were questions, posed to her, and then she said, questions like, would she be willing to step down, for another candidate? Not forget that she's actually running. She wants to run, rather, on the same platform as that of the sitting governor. So a lot of people are saying that there might be another chaotic, situation in Ondo State. Have you been following Ondo election?
I've been following it, but what I would say is one after the other, because the major issue at the front burner as it stands is that of Edo election. Everybody has given it so much attention that we tend to look less at Ondo. But I will tell you, Ondo will not be as troublesome as the way Ondo will not as the way Edo is. Because looking at the factors that is playing out in Edo, it has to do with the chairmanship coming from Edo State.
Sorry, hold your thought a second. If you're just joining us, this is Talking Politics here on Vanguard Live. And of course, I've been with Mr. Ifeanyi Okoye, a public analyst. Don't forget to like and share our page, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Vanguard NGR TV, where you can get other interesting stories. Okay, Mr. Ifeanyi, we were talking about the Ondo election, and of course you said it is not going to be as troublesome as what we are having, at the moment in Ondo State, because you feel there is no perceived, interest in Ondo State.
There is perceived interest because in Ondo State we have factions, even in the APC. But I can tell you of the truth, those factions, the national body will find a way to resolve it. Because the case of Edo is factual, completely different, because the national chairman of the party has his own interests specifically, and is from that Edo.
But we've also heard that the national leader of a certain party is also interested, in the outcome of Ondo election. Do not forget that the election that produced the current governor too had some kind of skirmishes.
And I will tell you that the so-called national leader, his influence in Ondo will be whittled down, except he wants to lose that state, because they have tried it before, they lost. And remember, the governor who came in his first term, he never had the support of the certain national leader, and not at this point. And you ask a question, the former governor's daughter said she's going to become the next governor of Ondo State under the same platform with the present governor. But I can tell you that everybody has dream to aspire.
Of course.
So it's not a bad thing. Anybody, at least there was a certain time a so-called clergyman in this nation came out some years back and told us God has told him he's going to become the next president of the country.
But you are talking as if we should just, discard the declaration of this former governor's daughter with just a wave of hand.
Everybody has.
Are you not concerned that she might just be, some kind of bait, to score to whatever chances, the big players have in Ondo State?
Like I said earlier, we will not start talking of whether she's a threat or as things unfold. We begin to see how things play out. Like now, everybody has rights to aspire. So she should at least aspire, go and meet her people, talk to them, do at town hall meetings, at least tell them her manifesto, and it's not a bad thing.
Well, it is not a bad thing. Okay, let's quickly go on a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to look at what the PDP said yesterday, and of course go back to, the Obaseki. You've been talking about Obaseki, you've been, citing a lot of examples from the Edo election, and of course, when we come back, we'll talk more on that.
I believe that
justice or fairness, then that Comrade Adams Oshomole should recluse himself from the process. But as a party man, I've had to go through the screening like everybody else. But since he is the judge and the jury in this matter, I'll just wait to see the outcome of the screening. I've given them all the information they need, the controversial certificates from the University of Ibadan has been tendered. With all the signatures and so whatever the bishop did has been tendered. All the few other questions that were asked, but like I said, as a party man, I've gone through the screening process, but I do not believe that I'll get justice because Comrade Adams Oshomole is an interested party in the Edo process. One of the questions I was asked, which I was actually looking for, was that why did I issue a gazette that would prevent the party from performing direct elections in Edo? That didn't I see it as an anti-party activity? I just felt that when we now put the issue of politics above the lives of the citizens of Edo State, then we may be missing the point.
Alright, welcome back. Of course, it is still talking politics on Vanguard Live TV, and we still have Mr. Ifeanyi Okoye in the house, giving us a lot of deeper insight, into some of the stories that we've been talking about. Okay, before we actually went on break, we're talking about the Ondo election, and then of course moving on to the PDP now. Yesterday the PDP came out and said that if we continue to borrow, Nigeria will stop breathing. Do you think such statement it's not really political? Because some have said that at the moment that we have a lot of dwindling, revenue coming into the country and all of that, the best we can do for now as a country that is not manufacturing is to seek help, external help. So do you think what the PDP is saying is it's actually in the right direction?
The question is a very deep question that the answers are not straight. But I will tell you that since like APC, I will start with APC because they have disappointed themselves, they have disappointed Nigerians, and they have disappointed God, who power belongs to. Because
a lot of Nigerians are still rooting for them. That is your own opinion.
That is not my own opinion. Today, go outside the country and listen to Nigerians. Then go to economics like Bloomberg or the economics. People predict nations, the country's economy. You find out that their predictions on Nigeria are not reasonable. It's negative. A few days ago, I was reading a particular article. They said 43% of the world's poorest people live in Nigeria.
That's alarming.
43% of the world's poorest people live in Nigeria. And you are telling me that PDP said they should stop borrowing. Yes, under Obasanjo, Nigerians' debt were cleared. We paid some and some were cleared through the then Minister of Finance.
But the same PDP started borrowing again.
Who was Okonjo-Iweala. And yes, they started borrowing. And I will tell you, for 16 good years, PDP only borrowed 11.3 trillion naira to run the economy, as against 5 years of APC.
But people will tell you that, of course, during that period,
there was oil boom.
Yes.
And who told you we still don't sell oil now?
But at what rate?
I remember the government told us they are recovering revenues for looted funds. Apart from looted funds, Abacha's money. Then we should ask ourselves a question: when all this money came in, what were this money used for? Only to tell us that they have spent is it not 2 trillion in less than 3 years, from 2016 to 2019? SIP to feed people and empower poorest of the poor people in the north. Those policies or program, are they sustainable or are they realistic? The question is no. If they are sustainable and realistic, are they viable? The question is no, because you don't have data. People you are giving 5,000 or 10,000. Have you in the next 2-3 years? Is there any concrete plan you will leave them out of poverty in the shortest while? The question is no. And the same Buhari told us, in 10 years you will leave 200 million people out of poverty. These things are not rocket science. PDP are telling you that you should stop borrowing. It's true. We are not a producing nation. We don't have stable power. And today, we are seeing the effect of what the economy looks like. Under 5 years, this administration have taken 32 trillion naira. It's only it happened since I started following things. This is the first time a particular National Assembly in 24 hours we approved 2 different loans, $22.something billion and a $5.5 billion in one single day, without questioning.
No,
and they are telling us they are using $500 million.
There were questions. They came. I mean, the presidency said that, of course, Nigerians are in dire need, of such loan in order to sustain some of the
infrastructure.
Yes, of course, other projects that were, stated in the budget. Of course, they needed to do that.
The question we ask ourselves: those infrastructure, are they economically viable? Are you taking money to build infrastructure that won't generate money, or are you taking money to build infrastructure that will help people? These are questions. Government are telling us they need $500 million to digitalize NTA. Where do we get the money? 70 billion naira for EFCC to upgrade their data, that of Nigerian Information Management System, so the National ID card system. So we don't need all these things. And apart from that, the budget is 27 billion naira to upgrade or renovate the National Assembly, which was built as at then with 7 billion naira. And on the budget every year, it captures maintenance money for maintenance, and you want to renovate 27 billion naira. What type of renovation are you doing? So that's the question.
That is very alarming. Okay, let us leave the PDP and, of course, Buhari's borrowing plan and move to other burning issue at the moment. This is one of the issues that is threatening to tear the APC apart, and that's the Edo election. Let us listen once again to what Obaseki has to say. Let us see the video and then hear what he has to say about the screening process.
I made a closing remark that I believe that for me to have feeling of justice, of fairness, then that Comrade Adams Oshomole should recluse himself from the process. But as a party man, I've had to go through the screening like everybody else. But since he is the judge and the jury in this matter, I'll just wait to see the outcome of the screening. I've given them all the information they need. The controversial certificates from the University of Ibadan has been tendered. With all the signatures and so whatever the bishop did.
All right, that was the Edo State Governor, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, addressing pressmen, after being screened yesterday. Okay, you said in the outset of this discussion that Obaseki said he was screened for 2 hours, while other contestants or aspirants, we had a lesser time of screening. Okay, what did you think really happened? Do you think that's also a ploy? Because you said that Obaseki said he knew he can't get justice, because there's a big player somewhere calling all the shots and all of that. Okay, you think that is playing out, or that was exactly what played out, during the screening process?
Well, the problem has to do with one. At least being a sitting governor, he was able to sense the outcome based on his issue with his estranged godfather. And we should not forget that things are not the way you look at it sometimes. So Baseke has his reasons why he made that statement. The only thing we should just wait maybe till tomorrow for the outcome of the screening. Let's see what comes out of it.
Okay, so do you think there are chances the governor might eventually get the ticket?
But he has shot himself with his statement. So if he doesn't get it,
don't you think that is just a mere political statement?
It can't be a political statement because
he might have other plans.
Prior to the screening, he has been talking tough. But for him to come out and say he doesn't think that he will get justice.
So in your opinion, the governor is already giving up?
Well, from his statement, he looks like somebody who is about drowning.
So there won't be a kind of bloodbath, that was predicted.
Well, we don't know. So let's wait and see the outcome. The screening committee, he might be screened and allowed to contest. But what happens to the primaries?
But some people have said that election, in Nigeria has to do with a lot of grassroots work you get. But yesterday, the Edo State local government chairman, came out and said, they are throwing their own weight behind the governor.
Behind the governor?
Yes, behind the governor. So what do you expect? That was what I was saying, that could just be a mere political statement.
Well, let's wait after the result of the screening committee. We should not be in a haste to conclude.
But you seem to be writing off the governor.
I'm not writing on him off. It is by his statement. So let's wait for the outcome. Because I believe Obaseki has consulted widely within the party. And he has reached out to his counterpart, to our governors on the platform of the party. And also to the presidency. And even to the experts body, national leadership. To shield their warring sword. But we cannot always say it's over from being over.
But in all of this, do you think there is a tiny spot wherein the governor can, exploit as an escape route to get his mandate?
Well, we'll wait till after the screening. There is no comment because after the screening, then we can now say the proper election begins, which is the primaries. So if he's successful at the primaries, fine. If the party leadership, which is at the national by Oshomole, decide he will not make it up to the primaries, fine.
Well, if you're just joining us, of course, it's still talking politics on Vanguard Live, and we may not go beyond, this very, very point. Of course, Mr. Ifeanyi Okoye has, given us a lot of insights into so many trending political stories, that we have here. But do not forget also to visit our site, www.vanguard.ngr, where you can get all the breaking, political stories here. Okay, Mr. Ifeanyi, thank you for coming. Yeah, we hope to have you sometime soon. Of course, then we should be talking about other trending issues. Okay, well, that is all we have for today on Talking Politics. We hope you join us next week.